Have you ever walked into your kitchen first thing in the morning, still half asleep, and found something waiting for you on the floor? A dead bird, a mouse, maybe a lizard, with your cat sitting right next to it, looking genuinely proud of herself? If that has ever happened to you, I completely understand the reaction. But here is what I need you to know. That little gift your cat left you is one of the most fascinating windows into feline behavior and health that we have as veterinarians. And some of what is connected to it might genuinely surprise you. Hi, I'm Larissa. I'm a veterinarian, and today we are going to talk about why cats bring us these so-called gifts, what the science actually says, what it tells you about your cat's emotional and physical world, and when this behavior is a signal that you need to act on. Stay with me until the end of this video, because there is a health piece to this story that most people miss entirely. And if you share your life with a cat, indoor, outdoor, or somewhere in between, this content is for you. To understand why cats do this, we have to start at the beginning, with what cats actually are biologically. Cats are obligate carnivores, which means their bodies are designed specifically to obtain nutrition from animal protein. But more relevant to our conversation today is the fact that domestic cats are solitary hunters. Unlike wolves or lions, which hunt cooperatively and share meals within a social group, the domestic cat's closest wild ancestor, the African wildcat, Felis sylvestris libica, evolved to hunt alone, to hunt frequently, and to hunt with extraordinary efficiency. Studies on wild and feral cat populations have documented anywhere from 10 to 20 hunting attempts per day, regardless of whether the individual cat was actually hungry. That predatory drive is hardwired into the feline brain, and it does not disappear just because your cat has a full bowl waiting at home. Research by Sandel in 1989 and later confirmed by McDonald and colleagues in 2015 consistently shows that even well-fed domestic cats retain a complete, functional predatory sequence: stalking, chasing, pouncing, catching, and killing. Satiation, being full, reduces motivation to eat, but it has remarkably little effect on the motivation to hunt. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of feline behavior, and it is critical for how we interpret the gift. Now here is where it gets truly interesting. Domestic cats occupy a unique position in the animal kingdom. Over roughly 10,000 years of coexisting with humans, they have evolved into something between solitary predators and social animals. They are not pack animals like dogs, but they are no longer fully solitary either. Turner and Bateson, in their foundational work on the biology of the domestic cat, describe how cats living in close contact with humans begin to treat their human companions as genuine social partners. Not quite kin, not quite peers, but something meaningful enough to alter their behavior. And that is the foundation of gift giving. When your cat brings you a dead mouse or a captured toy, she is engaging in a behavior that is fundamentally social at its core. The behavior tends to be more frequent in female cats, and particularly in spayed females, which immediately hints at a maternal component, as we will explore in the next section. It also occurs more commonly in cats with outdoor access who are actively hunting, though indoor cats absolutely redirect this behavior onto toys. What we are looking at in both cases is a deeply natural behavioral drive being expressed in a social context. The question is, why? There are three main scientific theories for why cats bring gifts to their owners, and I want to walk through each one carefully, because they are not mutually exclusive, and your cat may be acting out of more than one motivation at the same time. The first and most widely cited is what researchers call the maternal teaching hypothesis. Mother cats, called queens, introduce prey to their kittens in a very deliberate, progressive sequence. They begin by bringing dead prey, then move to wounded prey the kittens can practice dispatching, and finally to live prey the kittens must hunt themselves. Leyhausen documented this behavioral sequence in extraordinary detail in his work on cat predatory and social behavior, published in 1979. The hypothesis is that spayed female cats, who carry the behavioral and social profile of a mother but have no kittens, redirect this teaching instinct toward their human companions. From your cat's perspective, she may literally be trying to show you how to eat. She is being a provider. She is doing exactly what a competent, caring cat is designed to do. The second major theory is the social food sharing model. In semi-social feline populations, cats with strong affiliative bonds occasionally share prey, particularly between individuals who groom each other, sleep in close physical contact, and maintain proximity over time. If your cat considers you part of her inner circle, sharing her catch with you is an act of genuine social trust. This interpretation is supported by the observation that gift giving tends to be more common in cats who also display other bonding behaviors toward their owners: slow blinking, aloe rubbing, frequent soft vocalization. The third theory, which I think of as the safe place hypothesis, is more practical in nature. Cats frequently carry captured prey to a location they consider secure before choosing whether to consume it. Your home, and particularly your bedroom or kitchen, is the safest, most familiar territory your cat occupies. She may not be presenting the prey as a gift to you at all. You may simply be in her preferred dining location. The social interpretation we place on the gesture may be projection on our part, though it does not make the behavior any less interesting. Here is my clinical note for this section. Gift-giving behavior by itself is not a symptom of disease. It is normal. However, a sudden and unexplained change in this behavior, a cat who previously hunted actively and has now stopped entirely, or one who begins showing confusion or disorientation during or after a hunt, is worth a veterinary conversation. Now I want to talk about what the gift-giving behavior actually tells you, the observations that carry real clinical weight, and the signals I want you to know how to read as a cat owner. The first thing to watch is what your cat does after presenting the item. A healthy cat will typically deposit it, may vocalize. Many cats produce that characteristic chirping or trilling sound while carrying prey, and then either leave the item where it is or carry it around the house. If your cat is regularly consuming wildlife, that is the moment the conversation changes. Cats that eat prey are at significant risk for internal parasites, including roundworms, lungworms, and Toxoplasma gondii, a protozoan parasite that can be transmitted to humans and is particularly dangerous for pregnant women and immunocompromised individuals. This is not a theoretical concern. It is a real, documented clinical risk that any outdoor hunting cat brings into the household. The second observation is frequency. An occasional bird or mouse is one thing. Free-roaming cats can kill between 100 and 350 animals per year, according to research by Loss and colleagues published in Nature Communications in 2013. And a cat bringing in large volumes of prey is a cat who is spending a great deal of unsupervised time hunting, which also carries real ecological consequences. Domestic cats are considered one of the most significant contributors to small wildlife mortality globally, and this is a conversation worth having with your veterinarian alongside the health discussion. The third signal is the quality of the presentation itself. Does your cat bring the item specifically to you? Does she make eye contact and vocalize while presenting it? Does she seem unsatisfied or persistent if you ignore it? Highly social, deeply bonded cats tend to show more deliberate communicative gift behavior. They are not just depositing prey, they are engaging with you. This is social language, and understanding it means you can respond appropriately, calmly, with acknowledgement, without punishment, and without inadvertently creating a reward cycle that reinforces the behavior more than you intend. The fourth observation is the one I want to emphasize most, because it connects this behavioral topic to something medically significant. If gift-giving behavior appears suddenly in a cat who previously showed little predatory interest, and that change comes with weight loss, increased appetite, restlessness, or changes in vocalization, I want you to have hyperthyroidism on your radar immediately. Hyperthyroidism is the most common endocrine disorder in middle-aged and older cats. It causes the thyroid gland to overproduce hormone, which accelerates metabolism and can increase activity levels, including predatory drive. It is highly treatable when caught early, but it requires a blood test to confirm. Any behavioral shift in a cat over 8 years old is always a reason to schedule a veterinary visit, not to wait. Let's talk about the clinical side of this now, because gift-giving is the behavior, but what sits underneath it can require diagnostics, and I want to make sure you know what to ask your veterinarian for. If your cat eats prey regularly, a fecal parasite exam should be part of her routine care at least twice a year. This is a simple test. Your veterinarian examines a stool sample under the microscope to identify parasite eggs and oocysts. It takes a few minutes and it gives you real information. For cats in households with pregnant women or immunocompromised individuals, a toxoplasma serology test, a blood draw that detects antibodies to the parasite, is also worth discussing with your vet. This is a conversation I would not postpone. If you observe the behavioral changes I described in the last section, particularly a new or intensified interest in hunting in a cat over 8 years old, the primary screening test is a serum total T4, which measures circulating thyroid hormone in the blood. This test is inexpensive, widely available, and highly reliable for diagnosing hyperthyroidism in cats. The American Association of Feline Practitioners recommends annual blood work starting at age 7 and twice yearly from age 10. If your cat's wellness panel does not already include a T4 measurement, ask specifically for it. Peterson and colleagues have established that T4 testing in senior cats is one of the highest yield preventive diagnostics available, capable of catching hyperthyroidism before the clinical signs become severe. If your cat brings home prey that may have been poisoned, rodents in particular, given how common rodenticide use is in residential areas, go to your veterinarian immediately, even if your cat appears completely normal. Secondary poisoning occurs when a cat consumes an animal that has ingested rodenticide, and some classes of rodenticide, particularly anticoagulants, may not produce visible symptoms for several days, by which time the damage to the coagulation system is already severe. And finally, if any neurological signs accompany the hunting behavior, stumbling, circling, head tilting, or facial asymmetry, that is an urgent, same-day veterinary presentation. These signs together point to neurological involvement that requires physical examination, blood work, and potentially imaging. Now let's talk about what you can actually do, concretely and with evidence behind it. The most impactful single intervention for cats who hunt excessively is structured environmental enrichment at home. And I want to be specific because enrichment gets used loosely, and I want you to know exactly what works. I am talking about dedicated interactive play sessions, wand toys, feather teasers, puzzle feeders, done consistently, twice a day, for 15 to 20 minutes per session. A study by Cicchetti and colleagues published in Current Biology in 2021 showed that cats provided with puzzle feeders and structured play sessions brought home significantly fewer animals, up to 25% fewer in the play group and up to 33% fewer in the puzzle feeder group. That reduction happened without any restriction of the cat's outdoor access, without punishment, and without any negative impact on the cat's welfare. That is meaningful, peer-reviewed data, and it confirms what I see in practice consistently. The second intervention for outdoor cats is a brightly colored quick-release collar, ideally with a bell. Research by Calver and colleagues demonstrated measurably reduced hunting success rates in cats wearing these collars because the bell alerts wildlife during the critical stalking phase, and the bright color reduces the cat's visual concealment. I want to be emphatic on one point: only quick-release collars, always. A collar that cannot release under tension is a strangulation risk and has no place on any cat. The third and most complete intervention is transitioning to indoor-only life, or to managed outdoor access through an enclosed space, what people commonly call a catio. Indoor cats live significantly longer on average than outdoor cats, protected from predators, vehicles, infectious disease, and the risks of hunting itself. If a full indoor transition is not realistic for your cat, a leash-trained outdoor experience or a secure enclosed run is a meaningful middle ground. One last point on management. If your cat already brings toys instead of prey, please reinforce that actively. When your cat presents you with a toy, respond with calm, genuine attention. Over time, many cats learn to substitute toy gifting for prey gifting because the social reward, your reaction, your engagement, is equivalent. It is a real behavioral success, and it is worth encouraging. Let me bring this home with concrete actions you can take this week. And I want to start with honesty. You cannot eliminate your cat's predatory instinct. It is biological, it is ancient, and it is part of who she is. Punishment-based approaches do not work for instinctive behaviors. They create anxiety without changing the drive underneath, and they damage the relationship you have with your cat. Acceptance of the instinct is actually the first step toward managing the behavior well. Set aside time for interactive play every single day, ideally morning and evening, which mirror the natural peak activity windows for cats at dawn and dusk. Keep the schedule consistent. Your cat will begin to anticipate those sessions, and that anticipation itself provides real behavioral and psychological benefit. If your cat has outdoor access, keep her deworming protocol current. Bring a stool sample to your veterinarian at least twice a year, even if she appears perfectly healthy, and keep her vaccination protocols up to date, particularly for FELV and FIV if she is interacting with other outdoor cats. Remove rodenticide products from your property if your cat goes outside or could access areas where they are placed. There is no configuration in which rodenticide bait and a hunting cat in the same environment is safe. If you have a rodent problem, discuss non-toxic control strategies with a pest management professional. And I need to say this clearly because I see the consequences in my practice regularly. Never give your cat any human medication without explicit veterinary guidance. Acetaminophen, which is paracetamol or Tylenol, is potentially lethal to cats. Even a single standard human dose can cause acute liver failure and a condition called methemoglobinemia, in which red blood cells lose the ability to carry oxygen. This is entirely preventable, and it has nothing to do with gift-giving behavior directly, but any veterinary content that does not include this warning is incomplete. I know some of what I shared today might have shifted the way you see that little gift on your kitchen floor. What can look strange or even unsettling is actually your cat speaking to you in the most honest language she has, the language of instinct, of social trust, of belonging. She considers you worth sharing with, and that, when you really think about it, is remarkable. Pay attention to the small things, what she does after the hunt, whether her behavior has shifted from her usual baseline, whether she is losing weight or drinking more than normal. Those details speak. If it has been over a year since your cat's last wellness visit, book it. If she is over 8 and her blood work has not included a T4, ask for it specifically. If she hunts regularly, bring a fecal sample to her next appointment. These are simple steps, and they are what keep the story going in a good direction, for your cat and for you. If this video was useful to you today, please share it with another cat owner, someone who has probably had the exact same confused reaction to a surprise on the floor, and who deserves to understand what it actually means. And leave me a comment. Has your cat ever brought you a gift? What was it? I genuinely read every single one. Take good care of your furry one, and I will see you in the next video.